So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Trust everybody's doing well. Once again, welcome to our session and then happy new month. Today is our Q&A session where we get our practitioners to come and share their experience and get to answer our questions as well. So this is the one we have first Saturday of each month. We also have another one on the third Saturday of each month. So here, what we do is we get our practitioner to come and share their journey with us as well, answer a few questions, but the major thing is the product demo. So they talk about things that they have built recently, and then they will go ahead and give us that demo high level after maybe the presentation or the slide deck. Then they give us the hands-on because IT is really hands-on. If you're all theory game or all talk game, then you're really not there. You need to really be nitty-gritty in the platform, in the product, and really doing. That way, it kind of like all makes sense. So just as an FYI, thank you for everyone that has been here, especially our practitioner, Mary. Glad to have you. And then thank you for jumping in on short notice. We're grateful for you to share. We're all in the journey together. Also, FYI, we are still in the Delta window, beginning January 15 all the way to April 15 or 16th, I believe. You have the opportunity to ensure that you complete the Delta exam. What is a Delta exam? A Delta is supposed to be a difference or a change within a product. So ServiceNow has 2 releases each year. So these 2 releases, they have one in the spring and then one in the fall. What they do is they make changes to the applications. They maybe turn it into a subscription model, or or improve some of the applications. They now let us know that. So they name it via the cities of the world. So the upcoming one is going to be Australia, starting again from A, because they have run through the alphabet already. Now they are going to start all over. What happens is they have 2 major releases because they have monthly releases, they have patches, they also have store releases. They have a lot of things going on. All of that is part of what technology is, right? Constantly evolving. So what they try to do is those changes, they try to group them right in that suite, and then now provide us exams to keep up with certifications that we would have. So they provide that exam for you. But in order for you to access that exam, if you have been in ServiceNow for at least a year, so what do I mean? I mean, if you're certified now, and then you're going to be able to be current. So for example, if you're certified now, you should be on the Zurich release. If you are going to be certified this same time next year, so at that point, you would have done 1 year. So at that point, you'll be expected to make a payment. It's called certificate maintenance fee or maintenance process, CMP. The fee there is $200. Some organizations get a discount, so like partner organizations where they get a discount of $100, I believe. So they could pay it with their partner credits, or what we call learning credits. They could do that as well. So people like Deloitte, KPMG, NSN Young, you name it, there's a lot, right? Wipro, you name them. There's a host of them. The customers don't get that. They get learning credits. They can decide to share to their employees. That's different. But the partners get that discount in that regard. So you have the opportunity to take this exam within now and April, so that way you keep your certifications current. Just like ITIL or the IT service management space, or just like project management or the certified Scrum Master, these certifications would expire if you choose not to renew it, either through those learning credits or choose to take those certifications exams. They will expire. And it means that if that happens, you need to recertify. So you need to take the exam again. So not just the Delta. Now you have to go and start certifying from going to center, or paying them a fee, taking the course again, that kind of stuff. So you don't want to, except you're trying to retire from the IT, then you don't want to, keep up with that, then that's fine. Another thing is this. Right now, it is still free for you to go and get certified with the data foundations. So now data foundations is important for you to have, for you to pursue any IT service management or enterprise service management certifications within ServiceNow. If you are not, if you go ahead and do that within now and April 30th, or I said April, sorry about it, on June 30th. So that's 6 months. Started from, I think, 10th of December or so. But you have until 30th of June to go and take the CMDB fundamentals course for free. It's all on demand on that ServiceNow University, and at least get that as a mainline certification. So if you go there and finish that course, you are going to be provided the opportunity to go and claim that voucher and certify. It's not really a voucher now, it's an exam attempt. So go there, study the CMDB fundamentals on demand course. Once you're done with it, go ahead and get certified. Try and make sure you do that course at least within two to three times or more. Make sure you're taking note of the quizzes in between them. Make sure you're also looking at the exam blueprint. Make sure that you're also the hands-on lab. You're making sure, because if you finish the theory, because there's a lot of infusion of the new capabilities within the ServiceNow, it's called CMDB workspace. So there are different management tools that have been included there. Make sure you do that. If you do that, you're in for luck, because most of the questions are going to come out from that. Then you talk about the different capabilities infused, like data certification, the retirement policy. So make sure they test you with 2 microsets there, which will also lead you to, once you get that data foundation sets, then you get, I think, a professional set too with all of that combined. So if you can do that, you'll be in luck, because that's all they're going to be testing you on. That's all you're going to be testing you on. All of that is infused. I think one is configure the CMDB, the other one is manage the CMDB, which will give you, talking about how to manage the data and all of that kind of good stuff. So that's the housekeeping that we have. And then if we have anyone at the end of our session that is yet, if you're recently certified, you should be on the Zurich. But if you certified before the year started, before the release of the Zurich exam, then you still need to take the Delta. The Delta is free for you. You don't need to pay. If you're certified within, maybe let's say from the last quarter, so sometime in November all the way to, or sometime in October all the way through to December, before they did that closure to include the Zurich exam, you should be ready to go in there and then take the exam for free, to say your certification is at risk. So let's fix that. It will show you don't need to pay now, so it will gray out the payment, but it will show you the access Delta. You take it for free. So just as an FYI. So enough about us. So now over to you, Mary. Thank you for having us. So we kick off with our first question. So let's get to meet Mary. So a bit about you, and then what you do outside of work to rest and recharge. So give us a high level.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Mary, as I said. I am a life science research and development professional, and I have over 5 years of experience leading cross-functional projects across, Fortune 500 and international organizations on 3 different continents. I have 3 master's degrees. I am a ServiceNow certified system administrator. I am also Scrum certified, and I'm currently breaking into ServiceNow ecosystem as a platform contributor and business analyst. So, my pathway is non-traditional, as I'm sure most of you would agree, but I've spent over 6 years being a scientist and working globally, and that has given me a very strong transferable skill set. And for example, like problem solving. I get excited when I have tasks to complete. Systems thinking, process analysis, stakeholder collaboration and all, which naturally aligns with, the world of IT. And I'm also, in the phase that I'm trying to expand my contribution and trying to, explore different things. So that's why I'm like currently trying to explore what ServiceNow has to offer. And the other question was what I do for fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I love to travel. I have been to over 10 countries, and I was recently in Morocco. I went for AFCON, and I was going to support Nigeria, but unfortunately, we lost to Morocco. But anyways, it was really fun to get to see another country. And apart from traveling, I love to paint and I also love jazz. So there's this joke I tell people about myself. I'm like, I'm an old lady in a young body and I'm unapologetic about it. But yes, so yeah, that's on a high level, um,
Good deal.
things I like to do for fun.
Good deal. Good deal. I love that. Hey, so you had the old people that did not go with the Vuvuzela to support Nigeria. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know the rules that we need to know. Catch. But good deal. Good deal. Hey, definitely. Like I said, all the skill set are transferable. Scientists are taught from the beginning. That's all it is. It's all about problem
Yeah.
solving and then seeing value, try to see what the customer is looking for and how you can really solve that need for them. Sometimes you get it right, but it's all about while thinking through it or walking through it. Sometimes it needs you to, get at it to collaborate with others. But all the skill sets are transferable. You don't necessarily some people are like, I have to be the leader or I have to be the IT the scrum master and all that. No, all those skill sets you transfer them. Good deal. Love it. Um, there's no question yet in the chat. But now, so how do you stay updated with technology? How do you stay updated with technology trends? How, especially with this AI thing? So how are you staying keeping up?
Uh, I would say, at least for me, there are like three key strategies, I guess. And from having like scientific background, I've been trained to always ask why. So why is like trying to understand why I'm doing something has led me or inspired me to always try to be updated and try to, solve different questions. And one of the
Okay.
ways I do that is asking the right people why. And that leads me to networking. So networking both on LinkedIn, where I'm strategically building my connection. If you go through the people I follow, you have like 90% of them being scientists like me, but now I'm intentionally building my network towards the ServiceNow, ecosystem. And once you connected with people on LinkedIn, for example, you get to know what's going on because people tend to talk a lot. So even the connection of a connection, whenever they post something new in the platform, you get to see it. For example, I think the first time I saw the CIS Data Foundation that you mentioned earlier was on LinkedIn, where one of my connections was like, oh, so this is now a requirement for the people going through these different pathways within ServiceNow. And that led to me, connecting with people, trying to communicate with them to see how to go about this and what are the steps to go about it. So networking using LinkedIn and strategically trying to use Now University to complete different, pathways, learning pathways and modules. One of the ways I try to keep myself updated.
Good deal. Good deal. That's all it is. Networking, asking the why, being when you're a scientist hard because for sure that's the only way to problem solve. The next question is one that is always causing trouble in the ecosystem or in the space. So training versus certification. What's your take? What's your take?
Uh, I think that's quite interesting. And For me, the best way to explain my perspective will be like using an analogy. So I see certificates as, keys to open a door, and trainings as what you do once you enter that room that the door just open to you. So one cannot go without the other. So basically the certificates like opens door to you. Like when recruiters look at your profile, they're like, oh, do you have this certification? We need you to at least have committed to a certain extent by getting the certification. But then once you land that role, once you're given that opportunity, what can you really do, which is really important. So it's really hard to separate. So I would say one does not go without the other. So it's good to get satisfied, but it's also good to, develop the skills, hands-on experience, which I'm also still learning, to be able to really deliver once you find yourself in that room.
Good deal, good deal. That's the truth. It's a bit of both. There's no right or wrong answer, and that's part of the whole analysis and research and value seeking, problem solving kind of thing. The whole essence is get you there. Like great analogy. The keys you get in there. What can you do, right? It's like driving this car. You get the keys, right, but you still need to have that thing there. So you should be able to deliver it. Yes. Because the foot in the door, get to talk to those recruiters and stuff. Is your resume certified? You can do that stuff. But once they give you the job, are you going to take forever to try and solve? No, you have to be able to do it. Yeah, to keep you there. So great stuff. There are no new questions in the chat. So the other question we have is speaking off of that. So and this is a great one for you. So Gerald is so versus specializing on stuff. So you tell me, in your own view, with your own experience, what would you think?
I think I might be biased. So from, like I said, I have like 3 masters. I've been working as a scientist. So a part of me would like scream being a specialist is good. You have to get good at something, be insanely good at something that people would want to seek your opinion because you have the expertise to do stuff. It's really good to be an expert in a specific area. And at the same time, I don't think you should be all focused on being a generalist while you don't even want to be aware of what's going on in other space. Like you have to, I believe you have to be all rounded. Be specific, but don't be too myopic to want to look at other areas. So you might, especially if you want to, focus on a specific path, because ServiceNow is, the list is endless. You could be so many things with ServiceNow. It's good to focus on a specific area of what you want to do. But having an idea, for example, if you want to say business process analyst, you could say, I want to be that specialist. But you also need to know the platform. And I think that's one of the things that ServiceNow saw that they introduced the CIS Data Foundation. They want people to know about the platform before you go on specializing. So both of them are good depending on the area you're going to. But yeah, be insanely good at something, but don't shy away from learning other things also.
Good deal, good deal, love it. So Obi asked the question. So how do you cope in an industry that is dominated by the male folks? How do you cope?
That's amazing. um, there's a saying that it's a man's world. So that's basically you telling me how do I cope in this world, anyways. So it's interesting because you always have to, as an individual, be able to learn fast, communicate effectively, because the male folks tend to think something and then say it without being shy of what people think. So being a female, you have to learn to also be as expressive as they are. You don't Shouting does not make you expressive. Be able to clearly communicate what you have in mind and let that message be passed across to people. So one is, effective communication in the field will let people recognize that you know what you're doing and you understand what this is. And everybody really wants to listen to somebody that knows their stuff. So honing your skills, knowing your stuff would let people respect you in the field, despite the fact that we're in a man's world. So that gives us opportunity to be able to, you know, uh, do well in the field, for lack of better word.
Good deal, good deal. I think she has a follow-on question too. So do you ever feel imposter syndrome? Do you ever feel that? Or and then how do you deal with it?
Um, yes, I'm human. And like I said, I am a scientist, and breaking into another field, I tell myself it's normal, because if I was to take a step back, like 6 years ago, when I started like in the path to being a scientist, I was new to everything I had to learn. And especially having to travel across, different continents to learn different things and, be able to show what you're doing. You have to um, be open to being a lifelong learner. So that's what I tell myself. There's always this cycle, like these different phases and stages you get to before you be an expert in a field. So I give myself grace because I've been here before. I've been a learner before I became a scientist. So even though I feel like I'm new to this space, it doesn't, discourage me. As long as I always talk to people and ask Emeka, I'm always bugging him with so many questions. I'm not shy to do that because I've been there before. I've been a learner before, and it just makes you better.
Good deal, good deal. I love it. And so, what advice would you give someone aspiring to be a ServiceNow administrator? How can one stand out as an admin, especially in regards to the job market, and what areas should an admin be proficient in?
Mm, I would say stay curious, because curiosity would always, push you to ask more questions, to learn more things, expand yourself in ways you've never imagined, and always talk to people, join communities, communicate with people, network. I network like online and offline. So I'm in an area where they have like this platform that you can connect with people in your community. So I just joined the platform, and then I sent a message to everybody like, hey, I'm new here. I'm doing this. And from talking to different people, I got my first gig from just like telling people, oh, I'm new in this space. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm breaking into this ecosystem, and people are nice. Like, people understand what you're going through, and they've been there because, everybody, talking to people, that some people actually don't have this traditional background of IT. People are moving from different areas, so they understand the struggle, and people are willing to, coach you, hold your hand, let you know what's really important, and let you key on different opportunities. So what I would say is just stay curious, network with people, join community. And I'm also on the Nigerian community where I met, Emeka. Then Emeka introduced me to Emeka, and then I'm talking to people. I find myself always asking questions. It's exciting. At least for me, it's exciting to like talk to people and let them know what I'm facing. Like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm at. What do you think? So please don't be shy to take steps in that direction.
Right, good deal, good deal. Uh, Ken has a question. He says, how do you share an experience? So, for example, as a business analyst, he has an MSc in finance. So, one of the questions by HR is to share a finance related project. So, how do you answer such questions, especially given no real hands on experience?
I'm not sure I get the question. Could you say it again?
Sure. So, so as a business analyst, he has an MSc in finance. So now HR is asking as part of the process, so for him to share a finance related project. So how can he answer that question?
I feel like he should be very comfortable doing that since he already has a master's in finance and is a business analyst. I I think he just needs to trust himself because, you have the certification in finance, you know what it takes, and you've been given this rare opportunity to shine, like let people know your background. It's honestly, I don't think you need advice from me. I think you just need to be yourself and express, show the experiences you've had and how many years it took for you to get that master's degree in finance. So honestly, I shouldn't be the one telling you what to do. You already have the skill set. So
Yeah, you're not giving yourself credit. That's the point, Ken. So a lot of times, people are like I said, these skill sets are transferable. You must not, um, you must not call it a project. Like a lot of times, people will be like, "Hey, do I want to? I want to go do. I want to. So, for example, I want to go do my MSc. That's a project in itself. Did you document it from start to finish? Can you take a look and see all of the skill sets that you put in there? But that's the point. Sometimes it might not be that you need a title or you need a job exactly for you to say yes. This is no. It costs you money. You planned it, right? It took you time. You talk about writing the exam. That's a project. The time different timelines, right? Before you even get there, you're doing this thing. The only thing you're not documenting it. That's all it is. But you're doing this stuff already. You're doing it. So that's the point.
yeah,
And
to
then you
chime
have a
in,
lot of experience. You're doing it.
to chime into what you just said. So although this is not like a finance scenario, so there was an event where I was meeting with consultants, and consultants work across different fields, and they were asking, "Oh, give us a scenario where you had to work with people with diverse background." And I was like, when am I not working with people with different background? So you just like have to be able to reflect on what you've done, and then almost everything you do is finance related, at least for getting the MSc in finance. So you can just like bring one of them and explain what it took you to get there, and then people would understand.
Yeah, they're not going to be specific that let me know the client and no. It's just they want to see how the thought process. They want to see that. That's all. And you have what it takes. Don't give yourself some credit now. You have done so much. Even they themselves they should even take advice from you. Give yourself credit. For sure. Give yourself credit. But that's a great one. Loving it so far. So the only difference that I would say to add to that admin one is this. The ServiceNow has the career journey, and then they have a lot of. I'll share. Then I'll show you what I mean. So just give me one second. So here, I hope you all can see my screen before I come. So here now, right? ServiceNow has the career journeys. There's the app dev, there's system admin. So you could do the career journeys here, which will take you through steps for the admin, what to do, starts from associate all the way with some, courses that, follow through, which you need to go through and do. Also, you have the opportunity to go to the learning parts as well. So the learning parts, the only difference with learning parts is if you go to the learning parts, you do not have, if you go to learn, the only problem with the learning part is you use your PDI, the personal development instance. So it doesn't come with its own expected course sandbox. You're supposed to use your dev environment and do it. So, and the good thing about it is it gives you step-by-step guidance for what to do. This is new to ServiceNow. This is an admin plan. This is a developer plan. They used to have 6 before. So this is app dev. This is new to ServiceNow, citizen dev. So admin. They used to have, I think, partner and co before. So you can come in here and knock it out. So it gives you a lot of things to do. So you can see service portal, you can see schedule script execution, flow designer, a lot of stuff. And then each one gives you step-by-step exercises. So you would test how to connect to a source control, a repository. So there are many things you will learn. but you need to put the work. If you're not putting the work, for sure, like I said, IT is not theory stuff. It's hands-on. You need to be on it. You need to be solving problem. Is not giving value. Is not. You need to put your hand there. If you're not putting your hand, no. So the only difference here is you use the PDI. You're not going to. It's not going to validate. Here there will not be validation, but you will see the steps. You see what to do. It will show you. This is it. This is what you should see to give you images for you to see how it should be. So you do the thing and get it right. But that way you test it. But these are the tasks that an admin will be doing, a dev will be doing. These are the tasks. So that's also the thing. For the most part, yeah. But that's all. You know, if you're able to do those two things, you know, practice. You know, ask questions, join the the Slack channels, the community channel. If you have questions, reach out. There's a lot of people wanting to help, but you would have done the homework, you know, so that way you're stuck somewhere. Then somebody will say, okay, this is what you're missing. This is the what. Even simple Google is powerful stuff. Google error code. That's what, even like I said, control or delete or control right click, or even just right clicking on elements there. You're seeing whatever it is or the underlying components. You'll be fine. But you need to do work, put work there for sure. For sure. That's a good one. And then that brings us to our last question. I don't see any other new questions in the chat. So it's similar to what was asked before. So what's your words of advice for people that are breaking into ServiceNow or into IT generally? How do they grow their career? How do they grow their career?
I would say, not to reiterate what I said before, but staying curious is very important. Finding where you want to focus on early is also important. So when I started and I saw the different possibilities, it could be overwhelming. You cannot learn everything. Maybe some people have learned everything, but I don't think is realistic. So it's better to find a way to quickly find that thing that really excites you about the platform early and develop more in that area. And if you're still curious, you can try to know what's going on in other area also. But it's really good to find one space that you think is where you want to develop key strengths or core strengths for yourself and really focus on it to not get distracted. So for example, you just showed the learning pathways. So it's easy to just like pick a course under this, I don't know, maybe career possibility, and then pick another one here. And then you find yourself doing different things all around. I don't think that's strategic. And I think it's going to make you lose interest really early because you just find yourself doing so many things, but it's not really being productive. So finding that one pathway that you really want to see through, why you can, you know, if you're still curious, you can look at other areas. But I think that would, you know, coming from somebody that is just breaking into this space myself, I think that would help.
Awesome stuff. That's all it is. And we're done. That's all that it is. Hey, be intentional, be curious, and be focused. Find that niche, right? Get in there. There's like my wife will always say. It says that the sky is big for everybody. So all that matters is for you to come in there, and then don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid. Go in there. Just go there. Be curious. Be hungry. And keep learning. Learning never stops. Continue to evolve. Continue to get certified, continue to lead. Don't shy away from opportunities. They will come. Nobody's born leader. Yeah, some people just volunteer themselves. They want to take the risk. Some people don't want to fail. That's the point. Fail. Be there now. Go and experiment. This whole thing is experimentation. Go there. Do it. That's part of learning. But that's why you have a sandbox to practice. That's why you have people to simple Google to search whatever error you're having. Go there, put it there to tell you, to help you to fine tune it. And you have a host of community people that are cheerleading you, backing you up, and then make sure you're getting the time to relax, and then your God factor for sure. Don't miss that. because that's the one you must have a center, you must have, a reason for being, for sure. But that's it for us, folks, man. Once again, we thank you, Mary, short notice for coming in and sharing. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no hard facts. Nobody's a superhuman. It's just simple, right? Straight to the point. That's all it is. You have all the experience. You just give yourself some slack. That's what it is. Do we have anyone that is yet to take their Delta exams? We can run through it. For that Delta exams is really easy. Most of what you need is in the Delta study guide. All it is it's good to go through that study guide first. And once you do that, then you can also open 2 pages, so a parallel page. Go ahead, Obi, you have a question.
I don't know what I'll call it a question, or just to add to what both of you are saying about
Go ahead.
About failure and then the deltas and all that. Of course, on LinkedIn, since the start of the deltas, it's been raining. Oh, I have this delta, this one wrote, oh, I failed this. Like, the buzz is everywhere. And there was this trainer we had during our CTA program. Sean is his name, and he said that he doesn't know why people are afraid to fail. So like when an exam comes out, unless that exam doesn't have like a second chance, like you take it once and fail. But for like ServiceNow exams that give you, like 2 options or 3 retries and all that, that the first thing he does is that it might sound crazy, but that's just him. He goes in there to fail. Like for him, it's like, let him go and see, like experience, okay, what are these questions and all that and all that. And most times the system gives you feedback, on your knowledge, where you need to improve on and all that and all that. So that the next time he's visiting that exam, he's smashing it. So in a nutshell, what he's trying to say is that people should not be afraid of failure. Failure is just feedback. And even if you fail, you still have an opportunity to bounce back better. But for some people, when they write their first exam and they fail, they are demoralized, they're discouraged. In fact, some of them abandon the project, they abandon the ship. They don't want to come back there and all that. So in a nutshell, keep pushing until something happens. Yeah.
Good deal. I love it. Good deal. But that's the essence of what life is all about, right? And that's the essence of life. So keep pushing. If you're not, then definitely you don't get the right outcomes. Well, good deal. I love it. So do we have anyone that's doing that Delta, or that is before I was caught, right? That Delta, the way it works, you can, once you study it, the first go, you can duplicate the pages, right? So that one is for the exam, then one is for that study guide. Because normally what is contained in the study guide is really the product documentation. So already it's a Delta. So the expectation is that you have some knowledge of, prior, or that you're already using some of the tools. So you need to search through there. You can control find and find the answers. But the idea is to know it so that if you see it in a lineup, right? So that's why you go ahead and study that exam study guide. And then if you do that, you should be well to pass that. Yes, we talked about it and provided solutions, but you should be able to do that. Be aware of those changes so that way you can check them out on the ServiceNow University. I remember that, back in the day when I used to be really chanced, every release I go in there, simulations, all the simulations, I try to knock them all out just to get an idea of whatever changes on applications are there, so that way I'm able to speak to it, and then I can do it. There was back in the day, I used to, like any new release, I'll go there, get my PDI, or just go to simulator if I don't want to worry about my PDI because I'm busy. I'll just go do that, because that's the only way to keep up. And IT is not stopping now, even with the AI agents and all the agentic workflow, it's not stopping. So, but you have to keep up. That's all it is. You have to keep up. Failure is part of it. If we don't have anyone, we can wrap it up. Once again, we want to thank you, Mary, for sharing your Saturday with us. We're grateful. We will be sharing your contacts and then your LinkedIn, so that you see a lot of connections spring up. Hey, That's what we're all about. Grow that network, networking strategically, and then hand holding and get people across the finish line. That's all it is. Thank you so much for sharing your Saturday with us. We're grateful. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.